Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This is a follow-up video continuing the work I've done on the Alton Sterling shooting, the Philando Castile shooting, the Dallas police shooting, and now again another shooting in Baton Rouge. As I've been explaining, all of these stories are coordinated propaganda for the sake of a narrative, for the sake of an agenda, which is about further militarizing the police and probably taking more liberties from we the citizens of this nation. The last couple days, Sheriff Clarke from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as you see on the screen, has been in the TV arguing with Don Lemon of CNN. And tonight, July 18th, he was at the GOP Convention celebrating Blue Lives Matter, the bill signed by the Louisiana governor May 26, 2016, about protecting police from threats. I've explained how that bill has been coordinated with the Alton Sterling killing, which happened in Louisiana, the same state the bill was signed in, as well as the Philando Castile killing in Minnesota, as well as the Dallas shooting, and now back in Baton Rouge again. That bill was for protecting police against hate crimes and labeling Black Lives Matter as a threat. Tonight, this man, who's been in the media in recent days, supporting Blue Lives Matter, speaking down against Black Lives Matter, advocating for Donald Trump, tonight, while at the GOP convention in Cleveland, he took a moment to speak about Blue Lives Matter and also to congratulate the justice system in Baltimore who acquitted police officer Brian Rice, someone that was supposedly responsible largely for the death of Freddie Gray. Another contrived story, part of this ongoing race war propaganda. So here's what I want to show you, all that's coded into this. Notice how they're emphasizing these words down here. Dead wrong. Sheriff Clarke says Clinton is dead wrong. Dead wrong has gematria 46, just like hate crime, just like the number coded into all of these propaganda-based shootings about police. Baton Rouge equals 46, Dallas police equals 46, Dallas, Texas equals 46. Chaos equals 46. It is the Freemasons controlling media, controlling police, controlling the narrative, and scripting these stories by the practice of numerology, gematria. The phrase hero also has gematria 46. In a lot of these police shootings, they emphasize how police are heroes, essentially. None of this coding is coincidence. Standing out even more is the name Sheriff Clarke. Sheriff Clarke has gematria of 67, a number I've been talking an awful lot about in all of these shootings. Remember, the news of the Alton Sterling killing came out July 6th. Later that day, the killing of Philando Castile in Minnesota. This bill that Sheriff Clarke's advocating for, Blue Lives Matter, sums to 67. It was signed May 26, 2016. A date was 67 numerology. Freemasonry equals 67. Alton Sterling equals 67. Philando Castile equals 67. Philando Castile's uncle in the media, a Freemason, wearing his Masonic pin. This man, David A. Clarke Jr., Sheriff Clarke, some other interesting things about him. Where he is from, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the year he's born. That year 56, 1956. Remember, the Louisiana governor that made the Blue Lives Matter bill targeting Black Lives Matter is the 56th governor of Louisiana. Black Lives Matter has gematria 56. David A. Clarke Jr., his full name, the small way, gematria 56, born in 56 supposedly. Remember what I'm saying. These people who go before us in these positions, they are actor agents being used for agenda. They're the people willing to take a paycheck and then go be talking pieces in the media for this Zionist Masonic agenda. They sell us out for their own greed, you know? What kind of black man in the year 2016 goes before the Republican Party, an inherently racist party, and advocates for police at this day and age, at any day and age? The only way to do it is for a lot of money or to be outright insane. His name, the big way, David A. Clarke Jr., sums to 119, just like all-seeing eye, just like Star of David, important symbolism to the Masons and Zionists who have the Star of David on their flag. He's the 64th sheriff of Milwaukee County Interesting. Civil rights equals 64, the Civil Rights Act in 64. Barack Hussein Obama equals 64, elected the 44th president 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. The face of the Civil Rights Act, Martin Luther King Jr., shot on 4/4, April 4th. This officer, or this sheriff, is from Wisconsin, one of two states with a gematria of 44. Shooting equals 44, trooper 44, officer 44, sheriff 44, he's a sheriff. Special number, important number, those multiples of 11, the Masons like those. As for Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it has the same gematria as conspiracy, and this man is surely a walking, talking conspiracy. At the Republican Convention, they also had this guy come out here, a man born in Italy, a former model for Calvin Klein, to talk about what a great man Donald Trump is. New World Order, Masonic Zionist agent. Look at this guy's name, Antonio Sabato Jr., gematria of 174, just like New World Order. Currently 44 years old. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton trying to become the 44th person to be president. Obama's number 44, but he's only the 43rd person to be. That's because Grover Cleveland counted as 22 and 24. Obama's the 43rd. The day he was elected, November 4th, 2008, a date with 43 numerology, where he gave his acceptance speech, Grant Park, a location with gematria of 43. Connections to Lincoln from the land of Lincoln. Lincoln born on the 43rd day of the year. Civil War equals 43. Charleston equals 43. I bring that up because Sheriff Clarke, he congratulated Brian Rice on being acquitted for wrongdoing in the Freddie Gray case. Brian Rice is who is said to have mishandled Freddie Gray in the back of the van where he supposedly sustained the life-threatening injuries that ended up killing him. Notice that this acquittal comes on July 18th, a date written 18/7, a lot like 187, the homicide code. These people were up for murder, manslaughter charges. Right away in the article, they mentioned that Rice is now 42 years old, a number often coded on black men. Freddie in gematria equals 42. Gray equals 24, the reflection. So they say he's 42, a number stamped all over the Freddie Gray story. If you missed my work last year, I was showing just all the mainstream reporting and what they were saying. Where Freddie Gray's neighborhood is, 42% of the people are in, some adjective type of poverty. All this 42, all this racist coding, 42 represents the most hateful word for black Americans. So anyway, the date of the acquittal today, a date with 41 numerology. Baltimore also equals 41, a big story for the city. Comes on a date matching the gematria of the city. It's also a date with 61 numerology. The Civil War began in 1861. Barack Obama born in 1961. The Civil War began in Charleston April 12th. Freddie Gray was arrested and injured April 12th in Baltimore. The Civil War began April 12th in Charleston, and April 19th, there was the first casualty of the Civil War in Baltimore. Freddie Gray died April 19th. Surrounding the Freddie Gray story, on Martin Luther King Jr.'s 47-year anniversary of being assassinated, April 4th, 2015, Walter Scott was shot in the back. Remember that story? Walter Scott equals the same thing as false flag, the same thing as South Carolina. Then, 74 days after that, there was the Charleston shooting. June 17th, the date Rodney King died in history. Another member of one of these divisive stories by the numbers. So anyway, the Freddie Gray story was a major tribute to the Civil War. So was the Walter Scott killing, the Charleston church shooting, Charleston and Baltimore, the cities where the Civil War began. That's what they're doing to us. They're dividing us over race, religion, getting us to fight amongst ourselves, teaching people to hate Muslims while funneling Muslims into the country from all over the world. They're building a nation of hate and division. This is how they're conquering us. Civil War again equals 43, like Charleston. Lincoln born on the 43rd day of the year, the Civil War president. Barack Obama with the connections, all of this happening during the time of his presidency, the first black president. With regards to April 12th, that's also the 102nd day of the year. Slavery equals 102. United States of America equals 102. Lincoln would die on a date with 102 numerology. The officer who was acquitted, his name's Brian Rice. Interesting that Brian, Rice, and acquit all have gematria of 26. He's the third officer to be acquitted. There's still 3 more officers. Their trials are upcoming. We'll see if any of them are charged. It's likely that none of them will be because Brian Rice was the most guilty, they said. So based on him getting off today on homicide day, 187, safe to assume nobody else will be charged. Brian Rice in simple English gematria is also interesting. Brian equals 44, like kill, like officer, like department, like military. Brian Rice equals 79, just like murder. Again, Freddie Gray got a record 6.4 million, his family supposedly. Civil rights 64, civil rights story. There's a lot more coded in here. I've covered it in other videos and these names. The upcoming trial dates are interesting. July 27th, 9 days later. September 6th, 9/6, Freemason 96. And then October 13th, a lot like 113 for mainstream, dishonest, Scottish and Scottish Rite Freemasonry. It's Officer Miller up next. When Freddie Gray was first arrested, it was Officer Miller that supposedly had him pinned with his knee on his back. They were saying, well, is that protocol? Maybe they injured him right there. Miller, a name with 33 gematria, like police, like race war. Yesterday in Baton Rouge, they're saying 3 dead, 3 injured, 3-3, 33. Yeah, I'll link these posts. You can read the full articles if you want. But this is all propaganda, and this is all meant to provoke people, and this is what I've been explaining all this time. Since I made my first video, which happened in the time of the Michael Brown shooting, which I was explaining was staged propaganda, in the time I've been saying if we don't stop this agenda, it will only get worse, and we're at that point where it's getting worse. The killing's more graphic, the outrage building. I started speaking out when I did because I saw we were coming to a greater boiling point. Woo! Excuse me, allergies. We got to stop it though, truth seeker. The only way to stop it's to speak out, to spread the knowledge, to show what's up, to show why there's men like this that go before us and sell us out. The reason they do this is because some people will see this and they'll say, well, if that guy's saying that, then maybe this. It gets people to follow along with the lies and the agenda. All right, truth seeker, until next time.